If you hear some sniffles, I've got a situation going on. Getting on my vitamin C to like kill whatever is attempting to come and get me. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and thanks so much for clicking on today's video. If you're new here, my name's Olivia. I film beauty, life and style videos and upload here on YouTube weekly. Welcome to the fam gang. So as you can tell by the title, today's video is another foundation first impressions and wear test. And this time we're testing out the NARS Soft Matte Foundation. It came out a few weeks ago. I managed to get my hands on it. I tried to tell myself that I didn't need it, but I got it anyway. So I'm here to give you my first impressions of the foundation. I've just finished doing my makeup. So this is a little sneak peek of how it's working out. But if that sounds like something you're interested in, then just keep watching. Before I go, of course, I can't leave before letting you know that you need to hit the subscribe button. If you haven't already, please go ahead and do that. It would mean so much to me to support this channel. And also make sure you go follow me over on Instagram as well. Okay, that's enough of an intro. Let's get to what you came here for, the foundation. Alright, so face is half done. You guys know that I like to do my eye makeup first, so that's what I have done already, but absolutely nothing on my base. But let's talk about the foundation. So here it is. It is a NARS Soft Matte Complete Foundation, and I got this in the shade Iguacu, or Iguacu, I think that's a soft C. I am usually the shade New Caledonia, or at least in the Radiant Longwear Foundation. But all of the reviews that I was seeing online were basically saying that if you got the same shade in both, that this formulation could end up being a little bit lighter. So kind of weighed it up, but I decided that I would go for the darker shade. So I stepped up to Iguacu, and that's what we're working with today. I'm hoping that it's going to work. In terms of complexion products, I would rather have it darker than lighter. So if it is darker, then at least I know that we can lighten it up and make it work perfectly fine. Whereas if it's too light, then you've got to try and darken it up, and that can always go hit or miss. So NARS says this is the new take on matte, comfortable 16-hour wear, full natural looking coverage, true color oxidization resistant, transfer proof and shine proof. And it says it's for normal, combination and oily skin types, and non-comedogenic. So we're supposed to apply a small amount in the center of the face and then blend it outwards. Okay, so let's have a look at the shade. I have been itching to try this on. It's been sat, I haven't touched it, haven't tested it, so I have no idea what this shade looks like. So the bottle looks like this. It's in a plastic tube with that beautiful kind of soft matte velvety finish. So the bottle kind of speaks to the formulation. And the great thing about this is that you get more product than you do in a standard foundation. So with any other foundation that you buy, most likely it's like a 30ml 1 fluid ounce, whereas this is 1.5 fluid ounce, so you get 15ml more, so it's 45 milliliters. It's a bit hard to tell from the bottle what color it's going to come out like, because that kind of soft matte kind of shading on the bottle can throw you off a little bit. So let's open it up and see. Right, so what I'm going to do is to put some of this onto a brush and just kind of spread this on my hand. There we go. I'm hoping you can see that. And then right next to it, I am going to put the New Caledonia. This is in my Radiant Longwear. If you haven't watched that video, I'll make sure to link it, but you can go and see how that this particular foundation kind of balanced out on my skin. So that's New Caledonia there. So there's actually quite a big difference between these two shades, and I'm hoping that it is true what they said, that this won't oxidize and it will stay true to color. It's definitely picking up more along the darker sides of my face. I would say New Caledonia is a better match for the brighter parts of my face, and this Iguacu looks like it matches the darker parts of my face, but they do look very complementary. I am getting a little bit of red with that. I'm hoping that won't dry down too red, but we will see. So I'm going to use my new favorite foundation brush at the moment, and that's the NYX multi-purpose brush. What I'll do is just squeeze a little bit onto the back of my hand. It's not a pump, so it is just squeezy. But I've put about that much on the back, and then just start applying this to my face. My face is still a little bit, and body actually generally is still a little bit darker from the trip that we took to Coast as a family a couple of weeks ago. So I think this is probably a better match for me now. And as well, like, because we're coming into summer, I will definitely pick up colour on my face. So it's likely to be a good match for me also for the next couple of months. I'm thinking that New Caledonia probably would have worked in terms of shade match, because if it's a little bit lighter than this, then I think it would have been close to the long wear kind of colouring, but it's fine. This is really lovely and lightweight. I'm liking how it's applying. It really doesn't feel like much on my skin, which is what you want from a foundation. There's nothing worse than putting on a foundation and feeling like it's really heavy on the skin. Like, ugh, can't stand it. This is nice and lightweight. And it is applying and drying down matte quite quickly, but it's not a flat matte. I can already see that just looking in the mirror. This is not, you know, a completely flat colour, so it does look very, very skin-like. I'm sorry the light is shifting again in this video. I had planned to film a little bit earlier, but it's afternoon and in my filming room the light does change quite a bit during the afternoon, so I hope that's not going to distract too much. Okay, so I've just taken my hair out of the way so that we can see how this is kind of balancing across my body. It looks very different to the way that I usually do my makeup, so I would usually try and balance my makeup to my chest. My neck is my darker area, and so I usually try and do a balance with my face and my chest, so that there's some kind of continuity when you look at me kind of face on, and then I would usually bronze on the perimeters of my face to try and blend it in with my neck. But what's happening with this shade is that it's a really, really good shade match for my neck. But when I'm looking in camera and even in the mirror, I can see that I'm dark and then suddenly I become light. But I think we can probably balance that out with concealer just in a minute. So I'm not too worried about it right now. And as I said, we're going into summer here, so the darker shade is probably going to be great for the next couple of months. So just quick thoughts on the formulation. It is already kind of touch dry, but it's not that horrible super suck everything out of your life dry. I've also realised that I forgot to put on a primer. So we'll see how it really performs, but I wouldn't have put on a mattifying primer with this anyway, just because it leans a little bit more matte. The finish actually looks beautiful, looks really nice and skin-like, and it has covered up my blemishes completely. I don't really have too many dark marks left on my face apart from a little bit on my cheeks, and this cheek is my problem cheek, but it's covered that up, although I really didn't put much foundation on. But if you need the coverage, I guess you could build up as well. Alright, we're going to move into concealer, and for concealer I'm just going to use the NARS Radiant Creamy that I picked up when I got the long wear. This is in the shade Truffle. I really do enjoy this concealer. It is just a beautiful finish, and I understand the hype. With some products you never know, like, you know, is it just the hype or is it actually a really good product? I would say with the long wear and with this concealer that I agree that it is such a good product. Alright, let me blend this out with my brush first. My new way of doing foundation and concealer is that I will apply my concealer and then I will start off with everywhere apart from my eyes to blend out first, just to allow the concealer to sit a little bit under my eyes to get, you know, that extra little bit of coverage that I might need. But it's not always necessary with like certain concealers, because they will give you that look anyway that you want with like high coverage. But just in case we do that, because that's where I really want the brightness and the colour to pack on. So that's what it's looking like with the truffle on. I feel as though it's almost blended into hardly anything, so I do just want to add a little bit of extra brightness under the eyes. So I'm going to use the e.l.f. Camo Concealer in the shade Deep Caramel. I really like this for like brightening, and this is in the hydrating formula, which I think will sit on top of the NYX concealer, sorry, not the NARS concealer, really, really well. So just a little bit kind of there, and then I'm going to blend this out. And then to help blend all of that together, just going in with my AOA Studio Paw sponge, which I'm obsessed with for blending together liquid finished products. So I'm just running this kind of like on the outer perimeter of where the concealer reaches, just to kind of make sure that there are no harsh lines along there and everything is looking cute. To set, I'm going to be using the Laura Mercier powder in Honey, and this is a little sample size that I got free from Sephora with some purchases that I did a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to use Honey rather than my medium deep shade because I want to kind of maintain the brightness that I've got going on under my eye. I don't want to kind of deepen it any further. So I'm just going to use a small mini sponge and dip into the powder and then set under my eyes. Okay, to bronze my face, I'm going to use the Makeup Revolution Glow Splendor Bronzer. This is actually a new shade. The shade that you've been seeing me use is called Deep, and this one is medium dark. So there is a dark shade in between Deep and this one, but it wasn't in stock, so I just picked this one up to try out. So just going to dip into the powder, tap off the excess, and then bronze the face. For blush, I'm going to use the NYX Sweet Cheeks blush, and because we've tried this out, I know that this won't kind of mess up on top of this powder that I've got here. I'm just going to dab a little bit of this onto the cheeks. Then I'm going to use a stippling brush to blend that out. And then right on top of that, I'm going to use the Black Radiance blush in the shade Toasted Almond. It's a very similar shade and it's very sheer, but it has a little bit of beautiful sheen in it, which I think will look gorgeous just on top of this. For the lips, just going to line with a brown lip liner. This is the shade 517 from Kiko Milano. It's a ready toned brown. Actually, it looks more burgundy than brown on my skin tone. Then for the lips, Makeup Revolution Pout Bomb in the shade Cookie. I showed you this in my latest haul video. Just going to use that to go over the entire lip, just because it's a nice, very everyday kind of brownie shade. And then in the centre of the lip, going in with NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Madeline. It's a lovely kind of light pinky peachy nude. I'm just going to use that to add a little bit of brightness to the lip. And then to set everything, using the NYX Radiant Finish long-lasting setting spray. I can't remember whether I've shown you this, guys, or not on this channel, but I have been using it for the past couple of weeks and I love it. It gives a beautiful radiant finish without it being oily, without it being dewy, and I think that's the kind of setting spray that I would love to work with this foundation, because it is a matte foundation and it probably will balance that out and give a very natural looking finish, which I am obsessed with at the moment. Okay, so this is what the face is looking like right now. It's very late in the day, as I said, it's afternoon, so I won't be able to do like a full wear test for you the way I usually would. In terms of first impressions though, I am really liking the look of this foundation. It is a soft matte, and I think they named it and got the formula just right on this one. It is matte, but it's not that kind of suck the life out of you super Kalahari dry, Chowby desert dry. No, it's not that matte. It's not as matte, for example, as the Fenty foundation. It's not as matte as the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless. It's just a beautiful skin-like finish. I feel like this is what people were probably looking for back in the day when we didn't have too many options. I mean, we wanted matte, but we didn't want like super dry matte, if that makes sense. So basically this afternoon I've just got some more work to do, so I am going to sit back at my desk and do some work. I'll try and come back later on in the day, hopefully not too late, and I will, it of course will be darker, but I will give you a check-in and let you know how it's doing. But I can already tell I like this one. Okay, I am back. It is now about 5:30. It's about 2.5 hours since I first put this foundation on. I know that's not enough time to give you like a full idea about this foundation and how it wears, but girl, I already know. I already know. I am in love with this foundation. I know I said that about the Radiant Longwear, and I still love that just as equally because it's a beautiful formula. But this, ooh child, I am in love with this because it's just going to work for my skin a little bit better than the other formulation. So let me show you what I mean. So I still have the swatches on my hand of the two foundations, and you probably can't tell on camera, but I can see right here that the soft matte just looks like skin. It's like beautiful. All that you can see on my hand here is that it's slightly darker than my hand, but otherwise it just looks like my skin. With the Radiant Longwear, the beauty of it is that it has that glow. It's not greasy, it's not slippy, but you can still see the glow even based off the swatch, and that's essentially what happens on the face. So with the soft matte, because I have skin that leans slightly oilier, the soft matte is just going to be perfect for the weather that we have in Kenya, which is mostly sunny, apart from like, you know, June, July, August when it's a little bit cooler. This is going to work almost all the time, and I get versatility with this soft matte formulation because I can tweak how it looks by using different products. So I can change the primer, and as you saw as I did, I can put on a more dewy setting spray which gives it something similar to the Radiant kind of finish, if not exactly the same, but something similar to it. So I can still get something very similar in terms of look out of this foundation. So finish is beautiful. I suspect the wear is going to be great as well. I have a wedding that I'm attending this weekend, so I will put it on then, and if you follow me on Instagram, I'll let you know kind of how it's going throughout the day, so that you can get an idea of the vibe and how it kind of lasts. But based on what I'm seeing, I'm obsessed. The only thing I think I would say is a slight negative on this is just basically the shade color. While I was away, I was having a look at the footage that I filmed earlier of this foundation on, and I think it's the right level of deepness for the darker parts of my face. So it's deep enough to kind of blend with my neck and to do the whole brightening thing that I did, but it's just a little bit neutral for my skin tone. It's not an exact match for my skin. So you remember when I put it on earlier on my hand, I said I can see a little bit of red in it. That's the neutral coming in, and it's not the type of neutral that goes olivey. It's the type of neutral that leaves a little bit red. So what that means is when it goes on my face, it can end up looking just a little bit off. But of course, once you've like put on your bronzer and your highlight and your blush and it looks fantastic. But I can see in that footage that it is just a hair off. I wish that I could get the exact color for me in this. That would be incredible. What I might do I might still end up buying the New Caledonia in this, or getting a sample or a tester or something, just so that I can see how that color kind of matches up. But I know now during summer when my skin is darker, that will be a little bit too bright. but definitely like in cooler months then it would work perfectly. So that's my only very, 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 very minor gripe with this, but it is very tiny because, as you can see, it blends still very well, and I think it's more or less a very trained eye that understands colour and foundation and undertones that would see that slight difference in the footage and in person. But I think it's something that is not noticeable enough for me to say that this doesn't work for me. So you know, you're not always going to find an exact perfect match for your skin tone, but if you've got something close enough, you can definitely make it work. I would like to see though, NARS, please, if you're listening, I would like to see, as if they'd be listening, I would like to see a shade in between these two, because I think it definitely jumps way too much. I will just go back to the website and have a look and see whether there is actually a shade here or whether these are exactly next to each other. But based on swatches I was seeing online, this shade was the one that looked like it would work for me if I went up in deepness. Yes. So in short, love it. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think about this foundation. Let me know what you think about the colour match in comparison to the New Caledonia that you saw me put on at that time. What's your thoughts? What are you feeling? And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you in my next video.